it's magistrate first, then county jail second, but there's like a booking area where you're still in your free will clothes. It's just like holding cells. You're still in your free will clothes, and you gotta wait there. And some people have to wait there for fucking up to 3 days, dude. You know.
And you're shackled.
Yeah, you're shackled while you're in that stupid holding
And
cell.
so get nothing but Johnny Sacks.
So booking really sucks. Booking was terrible, you know. And I had thought because before this I had only gone to the magistrate like 2 other times besides this, but I never made it to county. I'd always made bond. So I didn't. No, I thought when you went to county, I thought all the waiting around and shit was done in the magistrate, and I thought when you get to county, you gotta, you pretty much just suit up and go upstairs to your pod. That's what I thought it was. I thought, you you walk in and then, within an hour and a half of walking in, you're you're in your pod in your orange jumpsuit. You know, I thought, I knew they had to do some like intake things and shit like that. You know, uh, I knew you didn't just walk straight into your pod, but I didn't think it was as long of a process as it was. I literally thought I would be in my pod within 2 hours of walking in there, but I was not. I had to sit through a whole holding cell. It was just like the magistrate, holding cell, and I hate that shit. Fucking hate that shit. At least I was well this time because last time I was fucking sick. That's another story, I'm gonna go back. I don't know why I just decided to start here. Random place to start. I just fucking felt like starting here. I'll go back and do the other stories later,
About my night in the magistrate.
or when, when I got arrested. So,
So, you know,
I literally didn't know that you had to wait in the holding cell for sometimes up to 3 days. Thank God for me, it wasn't that long. I want to say I was in the holding cell for like 16 hours. Um, it was a pretty long ass 16 hours. Like I said, at least I was well. I was well for like the first like 10 hours of it. I was well. Then I started, maybe like the first like 12 hours. But like towards the end, when I was getting ready to go upstairs, I kind of started to get sick. But yeah, at Bear County Jail, they actually give you medicine to detox with.
they don't give you anything like fantastic, you know.
They definitely don't give you any opioids, but they at least give you like a sleeping pill. They give you clonidine, stuff like that. Sleeping pill is not that strong, but it's something. They give you like Vistaril for the anxiety, and
Probably like a Tylenol for the pain.
pain, and Imodium for the diarrhea. Shit like that. But at least they give you something. And they gave me my first dose because I told them when I came in that I was withdrawing. Yeah, and they gave me my first dose in the book and holding cell, and I actually, the sleeping pill that they gave me actually kind of worked a little bit. I got like 20 minutes of sleep or something like that. So it worked, and I made sure to bring like extra shit with me. I brought like turned myself in with like a sweater, and I fucking already taken the shoelaces out of my shoes. I came all prepared, man. I got an extra sweater. I really brought it just in case it was cold because the magistrate was fucking cold, but the booking wasn't that cold. But the sweater came in handy as a pillow, man. It came in handy big time. I was eating the Johnny Sacks, drinking the frozen apple juice. It was complete shit.
I had to, I pretty much had to drink
Drink water out of the sink because
the apple juice was frozen, or I'd have to wait
wait for it.
to thaw out.
It was just shit. The bologna sandwiches were complete shit in the Johnny Sacks, and that was my first time ever experiencing that. But I ate it because I was fucking hungry, and I sat in the holding cell. I'm chopping it up with people, listening to their stories.
And these people got some.
Crazy ass stories, man. And that, you can tell when people are lying and when they're not, but I could tell some of these guys were not lying, you know, about how big they're doing in the food world, man. This one guy, he's a white boy, big time ice head. He was talking about how much ice he was smoking, man. He was like, dude, I would fucking load up bong bowls of ice, dude, and just rip that shit out of a weed bong, dude. And I'm fucking, I load up a bowl as if like it's a bowl of weed, but it's ice. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, I cheap that shit, man. And this was back when ice was expensive. Now it's fucking cheap as fuck. But 4 years ago,
It was more expensive than it is now. Guys are telling me stories about hitting
hitting bong loads of ice. Other guys are telling me, yeah, last time I was here, I didn't really get that dope shit. They gave me medicine, so that was some relief to me. And I met this guy. His name is Julian.
Yeah, he's a cool.
Cool dude. So I don't think he would mind me talking about him. And I still fuck with him in the free world. Not that often, but I fuck with him every now and then. He's a cool ass dude. Uh, I met him
In the holding cell with me, and he ended up fucking.
being in my pod all the way until like 6 months. Yeah, until 6 months later, I was still chopping up with him. We moved around different pods and stuff, but the last pod he was in before he got trained on ISF was with me 6 months after he fucking got booked. You know.
So I'm chopping up with
This guy in a holding cell, and little did I know, 6 months later I'm gonna be in a pod with him, and this guy's gonna be my homie, and I'm gonna fuck with him in the free world. Fucking 3 years later, I never thought that. I never thought that. I saw him in the holding cell. He seemed like a cool ass dude. He was telling me, he was like, yeah, this is my fucking third time. This is my third MTR. You know, the last two MTRs I got, I just sat in jail for a month and they just fucking reinstated me. I was like, what? Man, how did you get lucky with the fucking.
He had the same.
Charges me, you know, uh, possession less than a gram, heroin. I think for some reason though he was on 3 years deferred
Adjudication probation, but it didn't really matter because he was
still facing a 2-year maximum sentence. Just for whatever reason, I guess because he had a little bit more of an arrest history than me or something. I don't know what it was, but they gave him 3 years instead of
2 years probation.
And
He was telling me, yeah,
it's my third MTR. The first two MTRs, they let me out in like a month or in like
6 weeks or something like that. The second time was like 6 weeks or 5 weeks. And he was like, I didn't do shit, I did a month and then went home. I was like, oh man.
This is my fucking first. It's not even really an MTR. It's my first little violation. I'm doing at least 6 months. It's like, damn, how come he got lucky?
But he ended up
not getting lucky later. But that's another story.
And he was telling me that they gave him
medicine and he wasn't breaking
that hard, and
that made me feel a lot better about the situation. Because I was nervous out of my fucking mind. I was super fucking nervous about this shit. Sorry, I know the lights in the phone, dude. I'm a fucking amateur. Just give me a break, man. I know I'm complete garbage. Just give me a fucking break. I'm rambling all over the place. That guy was cool, man. And he calmed me down. He said, look, they're gonna give you
meds. You told him that you're sick, right?
I was like, yeah, I told him,
And when I
first walked in, there's a little desk off to the side, off to the left, I think. And there's a classification guy. It was my first time in jail, so he didn't have like a lot of questions for me. But he asked me if I was in a gang and this and that. So I told him no, hell no. He asked me if I was suicidal. I told him no. And then he asked me if I do drugs. I told him yeah, I shoot heroin. And he was like, he thought he was a fucking comedian. He was like, okay, so you're not suicidal, but you shoot heroin? How does that work? He thought it was so fucking funny. And there was this girl next to him. I don't know why this girl was like really peeping game, And I was dressed like she was wearing like some old Hollister shirt or something. But she was peeping
game. She was like, hey, because I could tell she did brown too, so she liked to hear
about a guy doing brown. She was like looking at me, smiling, like kind of giving me the look, like yeah, I do that shit too.
Yeah, she was really
feeling me. And another thing is, when the guys come in, they come in the band full, and the guards load them in like 10 at a time, 8 at a time, 6 at a time, however many it is. I know it's at least 6 at a time that they bring from the magistrate to county. So I came all by myself. So she thought like, I was on some other shit, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't on the regular criminal shit, guys that come in from the magistrate, dime a dozen, She was like, this guy may have came from headquarters for like a murder, or this guy, something like that,
or maybe
turn himself in from court from the free world because he was on bond, he was a baller. I don't know, man. she was feeling, I don't know. Maybe I'm just full of shit. But that's kind of how I felt. So, whatever. Anyways, and I walked on, and she wasn't bad either. You know what I'm saying? I tried to send her a wheeler later, but I don't think it went through. I don't know. I think the guy just like told the chick it was from
him or something.
I don't even know. But whatever. I tried to write her a note. But yeah. So that was at the very beginning when I first got booked. Now I'm in the booking holding cell. They go through the whole nine. You know, you go to banking. If you have any money, they put it on your books. Of course, I didn't have any money. I wasn't even thinking about that. I should have turned myself in with money, but I honestly thought that I was gonna be gone in a fucking week, and I was like, shit, I'm gonna be dope sick that whole week. So commissary was like not even on my mind, I didn't give a fuck. So I turned myself in. Now I know better. Now I know how important it is, you know. But so I didn't bring any money with me. I turned myself in. I went to banking real quick. They gave me my medicine for being
dope sick. They checked my temperature. They did my mug shots. I think that's it. And I think they just waited for classification. Could decide to put me somewhere,
What they do in Bexar County is they have a special pod just for people who are going through withdrawals. It's a real
small pod.
But that's where they ended up sending me. It was on the 6th floor. It's called CI. It's a really small pod. I think it only holds like I don't know. I think like 40 people total, but it's partitioned in half. So it's like
20 on one side, 20
on the other. So yeah, you're in a small half of a pod with 20 people, and there's a couch and a TV.
It's actually really common.
Yeah, it's like one of those rubber rehab couches, that you can't lift up and throw. It's like one of
those. And of course, the standard
steel tables and steel chairs.
All those
Throughout the day room.
But off to the side, there's
one couch and a TV, and only like three people can only sit on
that couch, comfortably.
Yeah. So, but
that was a pod
ended up taking me to before I'm sorry, I know I'm all out of order. Before I went to the pod, they opened up my cell door, me and Julian, they gave us our cards, told us where we're going to CI. And I didn't even know what the fuck that meant.
Julian knew what it meant, so I just followed him. We're walking out of the holding
cells into the main booking area. And I heard some commotion. I thought I heard some shit. There couldn't have been a code 2, because if there was a code 2, we wouldn't have gotten let out of the cell. When there's like a code 2, like all movement in the jail stops. And code 2 is just a basic disturbance. They'll call it hitting the deuces, that little button the guard has on. Yeah, in Bexar County, it's a code 2. And I know I'm scratching my nose, and I think y'all know why I'm scratching my nose, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm fucking retarded. But yeah, I am scratching my nose, so kiss my ass. Anyways, you know what it is. Anyways, this is crazy, man.
And this YouTube shit is live. I love it.
So,
I am walking into the main booking area. I'm with
Julian. I'm with a couple of other guys. Some of the other guys are going to CI. Some of them are going to just regular GP pods or whatever.
But they let out like 5
from the holding cell I was in, and a couple of other dudes from another holding cell next to us. And we're going through the main booking area towards the elevator, right? And as we're walking to the elevator, and like I said, there could not have been a code 2, because they wouldn't have let us out of the cell if it was. All movement stops.
There couldn't have been a code 2, but
I don't understand why this happened. So I get out of the fucking holding cell. I'm walking to the elevator. I don't make it there yet. All of a sudden, there's a guard. He yells at me. He goes, "Chain, chain," and I don't know what the fuck that means, because I've never been in jail before. I don't know what that means, dude. But when they call chain, you gotta turn around and you gotta face the wall, because it means that they're
carrying
a certain kind of inmate
you know, that they don't want people
to see.
That's why they call chain. And the reason why they call chain is
because they're fucking tied up on the chain. You know, they got the handcuffs and the foot shackles thing around their waist. They got the chain around their waist. That's why they call it chain. And usually
guys in the red jumpsuits,
and you gotta fucking face the wall. But he called chain, and I didn't know what that meant. I just stayed there looking like a dumbass. He's like, I said chain! And he fucking like grabbed me and had me face, like fucking forced me to face the wall. I didn't know what the fuck was going on, you know? And I see Julian. Julian's just facing the wall, too. So, while this is going on, the elevator opens up. I'm looking at the corner of my eye, and more guards are coming out, like a bunch of guards coming out of the elevator, CERT officers in the riot gear, you know, the Ninja Turtle looking ones. You'll know what I'm talking about. It's the riot guards. Call them CERTs in San Antonio. Special Emergency Response Team. They have them in every jail.
You know, not only are they
riot gear, but they also handle like investigations within the jail and shit
too. They're like, you know, they're like the police within the jail kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. You know what it is. And a bunch of those guys
get out the elevator, and dude, they're fucking wheeling a guy in a stretcher.
Man. They're
wheeling a guy
out on the stretcher. A bunch of CERT officers come out. One of the last CERT that's coming out has a fucking video camera, and they're wheeling a guy out of the stretcher. It's my first fucking day in jail, and I'm seeing a guy getting wheeled out on a stretcher, and I got like a slight glimpse of him from the side of my eye, and it looked like his face was just completely fucked up. He got his ass whooped, and one of the guards made another joke, because it was the cops that beat his ass, dude. It was just one dude getting
pulled out on a stretcher and a bunch of
cops after him. I think they extracted him from the cell or something, and there was no other inmate. There was only one inmate involved, so that's what leads me to believe that
was the guards that beat him up. But I don't know, maybe he
could have just been beaten up and the guards just took him out of the cell. You know, I don't know. I feel like the medics would have done that. If that was the case, then they would have called a code 1. I don't know.
I saw a guy on a fucking
stretcher my first day there, this fucking face
hanging off, right?
That's all you need to know, alright? So it was a
fucking wake up call, you know? I was like, oh shit. And so because those guys were coming out of the elevator,
I couldn't get on the elevator.
And another guard was like,
hold on, guys. Stay behind this yellow line. Stand against the wall, put y'all's bags down, and just wait here for a minute, alright? Let's see what's up.
Yeah, so, and then I hear another guard
joking, hey, he must have been singing that song, fuck the police. Yeah, they all laughed, you know. He must have been singing that song.
That's why he got
that. That's what the guy said. He said they must have been singing that song, fuck the police.
That's why he got that shit. Whatever, dude.
They fucked this
dude up, and they wheeled him out of there.
Standing
against the wall.
And I look to my left. And there's a trustee that walks by. He's got a bald head. And I look closer, and I'm like, wait, that's Sonny. I know Sonny. I was just in rehab with him like a month ago. Like a month prior to that, me and him were in rehab together. Maybe 2 months prior.
But it wasn't much
earlier, you know.
It really wasn't much earlier, because I remember
in rehab telling Sonny about how I was fucking up on probation and shit. And he was like,
man, you can't do that. And then while
I was in jail, I was in rehab with Sonny.
He actually had a court date.
He was out on bond, and he had a court date. And so I remember the rehab escorted him to court and shit.
Yeah, like they escorted
him to court, and then they escorted him back, and he was telling me.
You know, he showed me his paperwork.
At the rehab. And I was like, oh man, county court 5, dude. You just have a misdemeanor, man. You're good. You ain't got shit to worry about.
It's just a misdemeanor, you know. And so they took him to court, and you know, he was out on bond for that misdemeanor.
But when I ran into him in the jail, he was like, yeah, man, I picked up 2 more cases, felonies this time. And I was like, oh shit.
He was already out on bond. bond for
misdemeanor. But I guess
he couldn't make bond
on his 2 new felonies.
And if you take too long and you
don't report to your bail bondsman or your other bond, they double that bond too. So,
probably
after like a week or so,
they pulled his bond, or maybe
2 weeks they
pulled his other bond and doubled it.
So
now, by the time I saw him, he was,
his misdemeanor bond had doubled, and then he had 2 more felony bonds. He couldn't. I don't think he could make it. Yeah, couldn't make
bond. But I ran into him.
Dude, he didn't even remember me. Dude, he was so barred out the whole time and fucking at the rehab. Like, I don't even think he remembered me.
Like, he kind of remembered me,
but like he didn't remember what my name was. He was like, yeah, I think I
remember you from Low Ridge, but I don't remember what your name was. And
I just yelled, I was like, Sonny? And then the trustee was with me, like, what the fuck is this, a family reunion or what? But, Sonny was a little bit surprised, but I don't know, he remembered me, but he didn't remember my name. I know that for sure. At first he didn't. But he ended up being a real cool ass dude, man. I ended up kind of doing something fucked up, but I made it up to him. I just didn't understand the rules of jail and shit, you know what I'm saying?
I didn't understand the rules of jail. I did something kind of dumb, but I ended up making up for it later. I hooked him up as this game later.
Because, I ended up running into him. He ended up being in my pod, I just saw him downstairs in the booking area. I went up. He wasn't in the detox pod, but he was in the pod. I went to after the detox pod. Trustee pod.
So, I
hop on the elevator. I don't know where I'm going. And for some reason, I thought while you were in jail, like, I thought you got escorted everywhere. I didn't know they just gave you your card. Like, here, go here, go there. Here's your card. Go here, go there. And I didn't know how to get anywhere, or how the elevators work, and none of that, where the elevators were. And I'm a little bit dyslexic, so I would get disoriented because all the corridors look the fucking same. So I would get disoriented, It took me a while. Now, after like a month or two, I learned the jail like the back of my hand. I was a trustee going everywhere. But at this time, I didn't know where the fuck I was going. So I just followed Julian. And I remember hearing from other people before I even got locked up that the detox pod was on the 6th floor. So I looked at Julian. I'm like, "You're going to the 6th floor, right?" And he's like, "Yep."
And we go up to the 6th floor. I turn myself in
at like 2.
I want to say
it was like
5 by the time 5 in the morning by the time we
made it upstairs. So however long that is, that's how long we were in booking. The freeze is at 6.
The first freeze of the day is at 6. It's from 6 to 8, or roughly, could be 6 to like 7:30. That's like the earliest it'll get off at. But
anyways, so in theory, the freeze is supposed to be from 6 to 8.
The day room is supposed to, in theory, open
at 8. Or at 8, they might do at 8 they might do like a preliminary cleaning, and then at 8:30 open it. It just depends on how the guard does it. A lot of pods do that. Nobody's even up at 8 o'clock anyways, except for the trustees that are responsible. So they'll clean it from 8 to 8:30, or maybe even 8 to like 8:20. Open up the day room at 8:20. Yeah, I just fucking picked my nose on camera. Because fuck. Anyways, the trustees would clean the pod from 8 to 8:30
and open up the day room at 8:30. So I got in, like
I said, the first freeze hadn't occurred yet. It was still dark outside, and I was still able to move, and we were still able to walk through the hallway. So that's how I know the freeze wasn't on yet.
So we got up there like 5,
maybe 5:30. They don't like to do stuff too close to the freeze.
So pretty much by like
definitely for sure by 5:45, there's no more movement. Because they don't want to risk anything interfering with the freeze. You know what I'm saying? So
we did for sure got up there
by 5:45. So they had at least a good 15 minutes. Yeah, but I think we were up there by 5:30. Yeah. So we got up there, man. And the whole pod is closed, right? It's all dark and shit, you know.
There's like,
One light on that's at the end, but the rest of the lights are off. You know, not all the lights never go off. You know, there's always at least one light on. So there's like one light on at the end of the pod. The pod still looks completely dark, and I didn't even know where the fuck to go. And thank God Julian is in the same cell as. Not only was he same pod as me, same side of the pod as me, because remember it's partitioned in half. He's in the same cell as me too, but it's an 8-man cell, so it's not like
chances are a little bit bigger. You know what I mean? It's not
like he was in a 2-man cell with me. That would be fucking
rare, but he was in an 8-man cell.
Chances are a little bigger.
But we were in the same cell, so it was 5 cell.
It was an 8-man cell. There's how it is like this. Okay.
You walk into the pod, right?
There's a front door.
Immediately to your right.
I believe. I want to say that is cell 8. I want to say it's cell 8. Yeah, it's cell 8 right next to you.
Then cell 7.
Then cell 6.
Then
cell 5. So,
okay.
So I'm gonna try to explain this to you. All right. So you walk in, right? Immediately to the
right.
There's 3 cells. As soon as you walk in, right
To the right, there's 3 cells in a row. Okay.
There's 3 cells in a row. Right?
When you walk in, then there's a restroom. Okay.
8 cell, 7 cell, 6 cell, restroom,
Showers.
5 cell, TV, showers, 5 cells right here.
TV's like over here, and the rest of the day room is all right here. You know. So picture
all this, the day room.
Here's showers, 5 cell.
6, 7, 8 cells. 5 cell was an 8-man cell. 6 and 7 were 4-man cells. And then
8 cell was also an 8-man cell. So there was 2 8-man cells and 2 4-man cells in there.
So 8 plus 8.
16 plus 8.
It's 24. There's 24 people in that pod. On that side. Right? There's 24
people. And then on the other side, there's another 24 people. There's a small pod.
You know, thing is, like, 8 dudes had to
share one toilet.
You know, and the 4-man cell also gets one toilet. So, I don't know where they figured that out. You know what I'm saying? 2-man cells get one toilet.
So do the 8-man cell. I don't
know how they figure to give the same
toilet for 2 men that they give for 8 men. You know, but there was on top of the
restroom toilet, there was a communal toilets that we could use when the day room was open. Which I'm dope sick, so.
Believe me, I had to use the.
I had to fucking take many shits in those
communal toilets right there, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to blow up
the cell like that, But when I had to. I just tied a sheet. Thank God there was 2 bars on the side of the toilet, so you could tie a sheet in front of it.
Take a shit or whatever. And I ended up fucking.
Dude. Have you watched Ryan Leone's channel? He talks about giving birth to heroin babies.
Well, the first fucking day I was
there, dude.
I gave birth to like 2 in the same shit. Like, I took
a shit so massive.
It probably at least weighed like 4 or 5 pounds, dude. This shit that I took. Maybe more. I mean, it was like ridiculous. I was constipated from all the
dope I've been doing. And I just now started to get sick. So, I fucking took a massive shit in the middle of the night. Everybody was asleep, and I took this massive fucking shit. And you know how these toilets are, dude. These toilets will suck down anything. Like, I literally had to wipe my ass with a sock one time and just flushed it right down because we were out of toilet paper. And, boom. I mean, the toilet it sucked down like it was nothing. I mean, these toilets, you know, and this is in the main jail. You know what I'm saying? The annex Bexar County toilets aren't quite that good, at least as powerful. But the ones in the main jail, man, you know those things are powerful. You can feel them suck out your ass. You know, I
feel
feel
like if you could get your intestines sucked
out of them. That's how strong they are. But you can't. But so I clogged the motherfucker up, man, and I didn't know about the jail fucking mannerisms. You know, you flush the toilet every fucking second that you're on it. You know, while you're taking a shit. Every fucking second you flush it. Even if you're not even shitting, you flush it. Just so nobody hears any sounds or anything. So you just, when you're taking the shit, you take a shit and you're just fucking flushing.
or at the
Very least, drop one, flush one, you know, or maybe
drop a cup,
drop a couple, flush one. Take, you know, at least flush 3 or 4 times throughout your shit. You know what I mean? That's at the very least. But usually they want you to drop one and flush one. I never even heard of that shit. You know, so I'm just taking a big ass shit in this room with all these dudes. I didn't tie a fucking thing in front of the toilet. Nothing. Like I said, I didn't know nothing. All these guys are asleep, or at least pretending to be asleep.
so they didn't even see this go down. But I took a
fucking massive shit, and I tried to flush it, and it wouldn't flush, dude. And I just said, fuck it. I just got back up on the bunk, dude, and the toilet was like full of shit, dude. It was
like absolutely full of shit, and I was like, dude, they're gonna feel fucked up about it, but whatever, dude. I don't even care. What can I do? I'm dope sick. Who cares?
I get back on the bunk, and then like 2 hours later, you know, after they wake up, somebody goes to use the restroom. And they're like, dude, who the fuck clogged the toilet? They're like, man, that's an industrial toilet. How the fuck could you clog that? And then this guy's like asking, like, who the fuck did it? And then there was another dude asleep.
And I'm just like looking around. Julian's
like looking around. He was like, I don't know, maybe him. He just points to some
dude that was asleep. So already by my toilet clogging,
you can tell I'm off to a bad start, dude. I'm off to a bad start. I'm about to crash hard, dude. I'm about to crash hard. Like
Ryan Leone,
MBCLA,
foaming at the mouth,
falling down the stairs hard. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm about to crash fucking hard.
And
I will get into my accident, my car accident, my train wreck, if you will, that's about to occur.
But I will say
this, I learned my mistakes fast, you know, in that little detox pod, in that 1 week that I was there. I made a lot of mistakes, but I made them all fast, and I learned from them right away, and the rest of it was pretty much smooth sailing, from then on. But I made some big time fuck ups,
in this pod.
Because like I was green as hell. But yeah, I'll get into that train wreck on the next episode.
Until then, guys,
stay
free. You know what I'm saying? I rep for the tone.
And like my boy Ryan Leone says, Leone. Palabra.